Yo, it's David of Strong by Elite. Thanks for tuning into this video where we are going to talk about the burpee. I'm just going to break down the burpee into its bits, teach you how to do the burpee correctly because many people don't do the burpee correctly. They butcher it. And then give you some tips and ideas, suggestions on how you can program burpees intelligently so you can get the most out of the main function of the burpee, which is improving athleticism. Many people have a love-hate relationship with the burpee. Whenever I ask my clients to do the burpee, they're like, oh, I hate the way burpees make me feel, or I love the way burpees make me feel. Burpees will always jack up your heart rate because there's nothing that will jack up your heart rate more than going down to the ground, getting up, and then jumping. But there are a lot of moving parts to the burpee, and all across the globe, as a commercial gym fitness trainer, I see people butchering the burpee all the time for the sake of actually moving. They think that the burpee is effective exercise, which can be for conditioning, but really the main function of the burpee is to improve athleticism. If you look at any sport, if you look at any athlete, when they get knocked down to the ground, they're trying to get back up as quick as they can, and that's the scenario that the burpee is trying to imitate. So you want to make sure when you fall down to the ground, you come back up as quickly as possible, and then you jump up as high as possible, or you go into a sprint as quick as possible. That's the essence of the burpee. You can use it as a conditioning drill, but when you start using it as conditioning and your heart rate starts to elevate and your muscles start to fatigue, your technique is going to break down. And there are a lot of moving parts to the burpee, such as you're going down to the ground, you're doing a push-up, you're coming back up into a squat, and then you're jumping, and then you're landing. So when you go down to the ground, there's a shock absorption part, right? Boom. And then you have to kick back, right? So there is an impact part, and you have to make sure that you get into that steady push-up position. Many people are just gonna sink here and then you're just gonna drop down like this, or they might not even go down to a push-up at all. So they negate the whole upper body component of the burpee. So when you go down into the push-up position, boom, you have to make sure you have a nice posture, boom, and then you come up into a squat. So you're jumping forward, which many people don't have. You see a lot of people do this, poof, and then they come up and then they jump like this. Very lackadaisical burpee. You're not getting the most out of the burpee. You're just moving for the sake of moving. With the burpee, you want to do each repetition with as much explosive, intent, and dynamic movement as possible so you can improve your athleticism. You're trying to teach your body to be fast, swift, explosive, and strong. That's what the burpee's made for. I hope you can do it that way. Whenever I program for my general fitness clients, I normally don't have them do more than 3 to 5 burpees at a time with, again, as much force as possible. If I am programming the burpee for a conditioned athlete or a conditioned client, I may have them do 5 to 10 burpees at a time. If you're doing more than 10 burpees, you're not jumping as high and as hard as you can. Try to do 10 max effort jumps. I guarantee you, even at the 10th one, your 10th jump is not going to be as powerful and as high as your first one, which means that fatigue is starting to set in and you're starting to lose those fast twitch muscle fibers to fatigue. And when you start to get fatigued, technique starts to break down. So we want to make sure that not only are you getting the most from the burpee, but you're staying as safe as possible and you're staying injury-free. So that's the burpee. If you want to do burpees, program them for sets of 3 to 5. If you're a general fitness clientele just looking to get in shape and lose a little bit of weight, maybe gain a little bit of muscle. If you're a conditioned athlete or a conditioned person above the average person, then program for 5 to 10, sets of 5 to 10, and make sure that your technique doesn't break down. So we're gonna go into a couple reps of the burpee.